Good afternoon, everyone. This is Charlie Riverman here in the southwest coast of Maine in the USA. And I'm a little earlier today than normally, as I usually come on at 2:22. I try to make it for 1:11, and I like those numbers. And come on, and it didn't work. So I'm here now, and the reason is because I have a dental appointment shortly after I finish this. So I just wanted to be here at the beginning of the week for everybody to just send a message out there that comes to my mind. And I know that we're all going through so many different things and uh, being challenged in many different ways that it's hard to keep up with everything. And the key message for me this past week has been to back off a little, Charlie, to back off and um, practice what the words came to me this morning were conscious awareness, and realize that when we become consciously aware, and that's something that sounds very simple, and it is in reality, but we've not really been taught to do that. We've been taught to follow orders. We've been taught to um, pay attention to the rules and regulations, which are more important than your own conscious awareness, because those are the rules, those are the teachings. That's, you don't go outside of that box. That's not, and yet when we normally go there, because that's what we are, is consciously, aware, all of it, uh, that's happening to us from within um, the womb to sitting here in this conversation. We're all in this process of learning and trying to understand what is going on around us and within us simultaneously. So as I looked at that word, those words, I realized how unbalanced many of us are, that we uh, don't allow ourselves to really trust what we feel inside of us. And we'll take the easy route of doing what somebody else tells us or what everybody else guides us and says, this is what's needed to do. And then we go into the further steps of this is the law, this is the rule of the society, these are, the structures of your country. And while many of them were intended in a positive manner to put guidelines out there, over the centuries they've been misused and abused and manipulated to benefit some more than others. And we all know this. It's not something that I'm making up. It's in the history books. And the reality for now is we're now entering a new age where we have artificial intelligence that is going to be in your face. And it was in my face this morning as I was typing my notes. Somehow the thing keeps telling me to correct this, to correct that, do this. And while it's a wonderful tool, um, I'm not necessarily all that thrilled with it interfering into my own consciousness and telling me what words to use and what things to do. So it's about a conscious awareness, and I became consciously aware of how it was interrupting my thought pattern. And that wasn't the intention of my story, uh, but I just wanted to share this with you today because it's a turning point in our lives where we need to make responsible choices based on who we are and how we got to this place. And we also need to make better choices for the future generations of humanity, because it's in humanity that the future humanity that is going to be altered uh, by many, many, many different uh, wisdoms. I'll call them wisdoms. So my notes are fairly short, and this talk's not going to be too long, which you all enjoy anyway. Uh, but basically, that each of us are being led into areas of thought that are both confusing and not truthful. And that's my first sentence. And what happens is when that happens, we come to a place of misunderstanding within ourselves. Is it this or is it that? And so we're sort of on this seesaw. We don't know which, or, do I get off here? Do I, and we go through that process. And when we're directed from a higher source of legality or a teacher or something, we are obliged to follow that because that's how we were entrained as children with our parents. Uh, you were told to do something. If you didn't, then you suffered a consequence for disobeying. And so part of that training in childhood, I don't think it was intended to be malevolent, but it became malevolent for a lot of us. And in some cases, it was extremely malevolent, and children were tortured and brutalized. And so we know the extreme of what telling somebody what to do and how to do it and powering over their own consciousness, what it can cause in all of us. And I know many of you have not had great childhoods, or you may have had very disturbing um, experiences in your life too, which made you question everything you think. And is it the right thing? Is it the wrong thing? And so we're confused. We're literally confused. And now we have this artificial intelligence is, oh, we're going to give you all the answers and you just have to follow this. Well, what does that do to us? What does our conscious awareness do then? Is it invalid? Is it not real? Are we becoming a robot system unknowingly just by drinking the Kool-Aid, as you have said in the past? We drink the Kool-Aid, we pay the price because we're trained from our childhood to depend on our family. Okay, we don't eat if they don't feed us. We don't get our diapers changed if they don't change them. Everything is done based on following the orders or following the teachings that we're taught. And there's nothing wrong with that process, except that the fact that um, you had no right to question in many households. Whatever was said and done, and that was it, period. And if you rebutted it or you tried to dive deeper into it, you were punished in some way. So here we are in this world where we're going to move to the moon and the stars and all of these things that are happening so rapidly. How can we not question that? How can we not uh, bring some of these questions to the forefront and then be told, no, just never mind. We get it all taken care of. You just follow what we say. Well, it's reminding me of my childhood. It's being crammed down my throat again. It's you must be do this. No, I must be do nothing is basically what I said as a child, and I'm still that arrogant person in many ways. If you force me to do something, I will stand tall and I will refuse and pay the consequences, whatever that is, especially if it doesn't align with my inner heart and my inner self. So there's three words that came up. It was attention, observance, and consciousness. And the keys of those are really when we pay attention, it's tuning in, it's focusing on what's happening in this moment, not just in front of us, but all around us, because everything around us affects what's happening within us. So we have this microcosm in this greater macrocosm, and we have to pay attention to all of it. We can't tune out the train coming down the track while we're standing on it. You just can't ignore that. You have to be aware of everything in a simultaneous, but not a struggle, not in I have to do this or a demanding way, but just be alert to keep your attention keen, your seeking of what's going on, what's happening, not just here in your own body and your own aura field, but outside of it. And pay attention to all of the sort of different frequencies. The what is your body feeling? What is your mind thinking? And these are keys to move through all of the future with. And we need to take back that sovereignty, because nobody owns that except us. This is who we are. We are not robots. We live in a world that's making robots, and they're going to replace people at jobs. And they're going to everything's going to be done like that. And the corporations and the companies around, they think this is great because there's going to be great profit. There's no medical bills to pay. There's no, you know, it's a machine. So it's easier to manage a machine than it is to manage a human. And this is the future. And I don't know what it looks like, nor does anybody. But if we don't stand down now and say, I'm going to look within myself and say, what is going on that is not in alignment with humanity? What is not in alignment with nature? What is not in alignment with Mother Earth? What is not in alignment with the planetary atmosphere around us? If we just let this go, we become the victims very easily. So, attention was word number one. Next was observance. So, as I spoke, that these all go together. They're all meaning the same thing, but in a different way. Is to be observant, to watch what's happening, to pay attention, to not just go off into your own world of cyberspace and your own stuff and just listen to that and take yourself out of what's happening in the world. Right now, the planet Earth is going through some major, major climate changes. There are so many thousands and hundreds of thousands of people dying now in the past month or so. I mean, I can't even, if I counted all the people that have died because of floods and dams breaking and um, all of these things, it's tremendous. Um, why is it all of a sudden? And maybe it has always been like that and I wasn't aware of it. But I'm looking at it now and I'm saying, what is going on? What is all of this in places all over the world? And it's happening, and these people are helpless. They're struggling, and many of them are not going to make it. And their countries can't support the damage that's being done. It's in the billions of dollars, probably in the trillions. I'm not, I don't keep up with it, but I just happen to tune into it like we all do. And we send them love, we send them light, and hope that somebody comes to rescue them and help them. Because this is a global thing. It's not just the United States, it's just not Britain, it's not just the major countries. It's all over the world this is happening. And we are not alone. So it's about observing it and then taking that observance and saying, what can I do in my own life to change my response and change my way of looking at it to one in which I can help somebody or I can do something rather than just sit and watch it in this stunned state and listen to a government worry about something else when you have all of this happening, people dying on borderlines. I mean, it, it's insanity to allow all of this to go on. And so I ask each of you to look in your heart as part of humanity healing. This is what we need. It's all about humanity healing. It, humanity is very ill, and it's not just you and I. It's it's the whole of humanity. It's not just the leaders. It's everyone. And we've come to this point over thousands of years, and civilizations that no longer exist, that were thousands, tens of thousands years old. Take the history books that we learned from and said, oh, it only goes back this far. No, it goes back farther than that. And these civilizations are buried underneath the ground. And they're digging them up now and finding out what they were doing and what they were eating and how they were living and how they were relating to the planet. And so these are things that are very primitive in our technology world today, but they were all about living, the living essence of living on planet Earth as a human. The last word is consciousness. What is your consciousness? Where is your consciousness? What is it focusing on? How many times have you been told to pay attention because your mind is wandering off somewhere else? Yet we're still observing and listening and and doing things, but we just feel uncomfortable. It's just so much going on. So we have all these distractions, and that's disturbing our consciousness, and is always something that is out of alignment, that will want more detail, it will want more attention. And then we get sucked into that and we start worrying and focusing on that. And in the meantime, our everyday life of joy and peace and harmony is out the window because we're focusing on our consciousness on something that's so negative. So part of the shift is really the conscious awareness is to find more positive things, more loving, kind things to focus on and to um, bring into your life and attach yourself to. It can be just a walk in the woods. It can be a walk to the beach. It can be anything. Going to the animal rescue and just patting the animals. I mean, sometimes it's just we can't give love to humans. Well, go to some animal farm that you can sit at the fence and pet the llamas or something. You know, it's show that love, show that caring to something. Go hug a tree. I mean, this is a wonderful thing. Go hug a tree. Go sit in a tree. Go sit in the forest. By the river, watch the river flow. Watch the fish jump, the birds come. Know that you're part of this whole system. Become consciously aware of who you are and uh, present yourself to this amazing process of being alive in full force of life. Hello, Doreen. Pleasure to meet you. Look up Greg Braden on YouTube. He explains so much. He also speaks about the heart-brain coherence. Yeah, heart-brain coherence is really what it's all about. And uh, that's the key is in many of my talks, I will talk about coming back into the heart. And it's the heart that really is the source of all of our existence. No heart, no life, period. We can elaborate in all a thousand things. And thank you. I love Greg Braden and so many other teachers that have such great wisdom of this. They dive into it at levels that most of us can't. But the key is for each of us to keep seeking that connection to our hearts and take that conscious awareness of that heart. And that's where the truth exists, it's within our hearts. So it's not just a wandering thought. Um, it's really about us really seeking to join in to the collective whole of, of love, the whole collective whole of heart resonance. I'm in a group, we're writing a book right now about dowsing and heart resonance in the group. We've got it on 3 levels, and it's now the last level is earth heart resonance. And so it's amazing how deeply we can go with that connection. And that connection can't be generated from a computer. It cannot be technologically created. It is a living energy, and we are living energies as well. So today's message really is to stop being the puppets. Become consciously aware of what you're doing, where you're doing it, how you're doing it, what you're doing inside of your body, as well as what you're doing outside of your body. I had COVID. I'm still suffering 3 years. I'm not suffering, but I mean, it's annoying. I have brain fog. I have kidney problem. I have something. What else have I got? I don't know. What have I got? But they're all from COVID, and they'll deny it to the ends of time. But there's no reason for me to have any of those, and those are the realities. And the treatments are, if it's not going by their pharmaceutical booklet and what they corporations want to put out as a medicine, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get medicine that can actually help you because they're not making a profit from it. And this is what we're living with. It's a world where we're being controlled on every level of our existence, from the food we eat to the air we breathe to the water we drink, all of it. It's time now for all of us to take another look at that and look at what is my relationship to that. And it doesn't mean we go on a war path or anything to try to make someone wrong or someone right. But let's look at ourselves, look inside and say, what does this vehicle that I'm living in need? Where am I making the choices in error? And believe me, I'm right on the list with everybody else. And that's what we're learning. We're learning through Greg Braden and others that there are so many ways we can do simple things, meditations or listen to music or simple things that will bring us back into a place of inner stability. And so basically today's message is to be careful and to listen deep into your true self, to deep into your heart. Listen to what your heart is telling you. The brain receives the information from the heart. It's not the brain directs the heart. When we were born, the brain didn't have any information. It was a blank slate. The heart said, okay, brain, come on. The heart didn't start pumping. The blood wouldn't be, the arteries wouldn't be working. Nothing would be working. And when we die, what stops? The heart. Tell me how many people who live after the heart stops. Not many. We come back. We may stop, the heart may stop for a period, and we may still be alive, but not by human standards, and we will come back into the body, as I did, and many people have done. And the key is that's because we are not what we've been taught. We are far more important. We're far more high. There's a higher structure to our beingness, and that each of us need to tap into that. And I, my last comments in my notes, which were, I often think of the human brain as the first AI, and look at what it's done, and look what it has done to Mother Earth. So if the first brain is an artificial intelligence, and we have come this far from being innocent in a land of joy, the paradise, and we've done all this damage to it. Obviously, the AI up here isn't working too well either. So I just want to share with you to keep smiling, to keep looking for things that bring you joy. Uh, things that you can use to share joy with others, or kindness and compassion. Because right now, as I said in the beginning, so many thousands, hundreds of thousands of people are dying around the world just from weather experiences. So please open your hearts. Know that when you open your heart, you're opening yourself. And then look inside that heart and see the true self. And know that in there, it's the most amazing, beautiful, powerful being waiting, just waiting to be recognized. Bless you all. Thank you all. And as far as COVID recovery goes, please check out. Yeah, I understand. I understand that it's again, it's the body will respond, and we can't kill all of the aspects of it. But thank you for that information, and I advise all people who have COVID to explore the areas which are told they can't, because the minute we're told we can't do something, we're being controlled. Love you. I thank you. I respect you. May each of you have a wonderful week. Remember the powerful being that you truly are, and go show the world how beautiful you are. I'm complete, a whole, and thank you, Humanity Healing, for letting me have my little talks every week. And it's nice to be back on a regular basis. See you next week.